You started getting better. You started healing. You started becoming someone you actually recognized in the mirror. And then something strange happened. The people closest to you, the ones who said they wanted you to be okay, started pulling away, or getting cold, or finding small ways to remind you of who you used to be. And you thought, why does my growth feel like a threat to the people who love me? Stay with me, because what I am about to tell you is one of the darkest and most important things you will ever learn about human behavior. There is a specific kind of loneliness that only people who are healing understand. It is the loneliness of outgrowing someone. Not because you became arrogant, not because you stopped caring, but because you started taking up space. You started saying no. You started having standards. You started needing less from people who were used to you needing everything. And instead of celebrating that, they got uncomfortable. They started making small comments, subtle digs, things like, "You've changed," said not as a compliment, but as an accusation. And somewhere inside you, a voice started to wonder, maybe I should go back to who I was. Maybe it was easier when I was broken. Picture this. A woman has spent 2 years in therapy. She has learned to stop apologizing for existing. She has learned to set boundaries. She has learned to leave rooms that drain her. And one day, her closest friend, someone she has known for 10 years, says to her, "I don't know, you just seem different lately, kind of cold." And in that moment, the woman feels something collapse inside her. Not because the friend is right, but because some part of her has been waiting for permission to go backwards. But here is what nobody tells you about this. That friend does not hate her. That friend is afraid of her. And fear, when it is not named, looks exactly like cruelty. What you are about to understand is not going to make you angry. It is going to make everything make sense. Because the people who need you to stay broken are not villains. They are people who built their entire identity around a version of you that no longer exists. Nobody talks about this. When you are broken, you are predictable. You need people. You are grateful for small things. You do not challenge anyone. You do not remind anyone of what they have not yet faced in themselves. But when you start to heal, when you start to become whole, you become a mirror. And some people cannot stand what they see when they look at you. Psychologists call this phenomenon reflected threat. Your growth forces the people around you to confront their own stagnation. Your healing makes their avoidance visible. Your boundaries make their boundarylessness loud. And rather than face that discomfort in themselves, they try to push you back into the version of you that did not make them feel anything at all. Picture this. 2 friends have been close since college. One of them starts working out, reading, building something. The other one notices but says nothing supportive. Instead, the comments start, "You think you're better than us now? You used to be fun. Why are you so serious all the time?" And the one who is growing starts to shrink again. Not because they want to, but because belonging has always felt more important than becoming. And they have not yet learned that the two do not have to be in conflict. But that is only the beginning, because what happens next goes even deeper. Stop. Here is the part that nobody is willing to say out loud. Some relationships only work because one person is smaller. Some friendships are built entirely on one person being the helper and the other being the one who needs help. Some family dynamics only function because one person is the problem. The one who struggles, the one who is difficult, the one who needs to be managed. And when that person starts to heal, when they stop playing their role, the entire system breaks. Not because they did anything wrong, but because their wholeness exposed how much the system depended on their brokenness. This is not a small thing. This is one of the most painful discoveries a person can make, that the people you love most may have, without ever meaning to, needed you to stay exactly where you were. Picture this. A man in his 30s finally gets sober. He calls his mother, expecting celebration. She is quiet. Then she says, "Just make sure you don't get too ahead of yourself." He stays up that night trying to understand why the person who prayed for his recovery seems unsettled by it. It takes him a long time to realize, when he was struggling, she had a purpose. She was needed. His healing, without meaning to, had taken something from her. That is not love. That is need wearing the costume of love, and you are allowed to know the difference. You do not owe anyone your brokenness. Not your family, not your oldest friends, not the person who was there when you were at your worst. Being there for someone at their worst does not give them the right to keep you there. The people who truly love you will celebrate your healing even when it changes the relationship. The ones who cannot do that are showing you something important. Believe them. Your growth is not a betrayal. It is not arrogance. It is not you abandoning the people who love you. It is you finally becoming the person you were always supposed to be. And anyone who cannot hold space for that was never really holding space for you. Not everyone who was with you in the dark deserves a seat at the table in your light. Choose carefully who you bring forward with you. If this hits something real, share it with the person who has been shrinking themselves to keep the peace. They need to hear this today. And tell me in the comments, have you ever felt punished for getting better? I read every single one. Or in next video, I am going to talk about something that ties all of this together. The psychology of people who cannot be happy for others, and what it reveals about their deepest fear. You will not want to miss it.